Good morning, Patreon. Sarah Hoskins asked for guidance on getting a reluctant spouse on board to get them to prep or come out of her, my people. Her specific wording is how to light a fire under his ass. Sarah, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I appreciate Patreon so much more than YouTube. I can say and do whatever I want to do here. And it's people like you that make that possible. So thank you. We have addressed this question repeatedly. One of the wonderful things about speaking from experience and operating with honesty and integrity is I don't ever have to remember the particulars of what I said because the core concepts are always the same. You need to be the leader. You need to lead by example. This is going to be perhaps a little bit more challenging for you because it sounds like you're the wife and you have a husband, assuming that Sarah is actually a girl's name. And when you say how to light a fire under his ass, assuming that that's your husband, that can represent some challenges because of the roles that a husband and wife typically play in a household. Now, I'm finding, as a side note, there's a lot of women coming to preparedness, and I think that's really good. But we're getting a lot of women coming to us who have reluctant spouses. And I don't know your husband, and I don't know you, so please understand that when I say these things, this is not an indictment of him or you. So bearing all of that in mind, for the benefit of the whole group, if you are convicted to be prepared, then be prepared. One of the best ways to get the spouse on board is to simply explain to them, to the best of your ability, your convictions. Why are you doing this? Honey, I know you think it's crazy, but because of what I've seen, because of what I've experienced, because of what I've gone through, and my convictions, I'm doing this. Sorry you think it's crazy, I'm doing it. Same thing happened with me and my wife regarding preparedness and the Torah. Hey, I don't understand this here, but I get it here. I have to do this, so I'm doing it. And I will explain to you to the best of my ability why I'm doing this. But if I can't adequately explain for you, that doesn't mean I'm not doing it. I'm doing this. And I'm doing this because I love you. Because I want to put us in the best possible position when things get crazy. Right? And a lot of this here is no tinfoil hats. Calm, cool, and collected. Hey babe, wouldn't it be good if you lost your job? It wouldn't be good if you lost your job, but if you lost your job, wouldn't it be good if we had some food put back? Or whatever. House fire, Yah forbid, or tornado, or hurricane, or flooding. Wouldn't it be good if we had some stuff to help mitigate our losses? Right? So you have to make the logical argument. You have to be the example. And you have to the best of your ability, explain your convictions. If you can't explain your convictions, be honest in that too. It's okay to say, I don't know. I don't know here, but I know here. And I know enough about me to know that when I trust here, things work out the way they're supposed to. So I'm not going to let this override this, okay? So I'd start there. More and more, as kind of a sidebar, I see husbands, I see men, I see males who are not men. And again, I don't know you and I don't know your husband, so this isn't an indictment of your husband. But speaking to my experience, I see these beta males, Charlie males. Like, that was a phrase that Squid coined because these guys aren't even beta males. He's like, that's a Charlie male right there. Gosh, unwilling to shoulder the burden of responsibility to take care of their wives, their children, hell, to take care of themselves. Their circle is a circle of one. It's themselves. If they're even taking care of themselves at all, they will not take responsibility for anything. And preparedness, to a very large extent, is taking responsibility for the variables that the future might hold, to mitigate as much risk as possible. It's physical insurance for uncertain times. If men will not take responsibility in the moment, in situ, right now, where we are, expecting them to take responsibility of the unknowns in the future, it's not going to happen. It's just not. So, this is also very much so a positions of strength thing. As the man, it is my job, as I understand it, to protect and provide for my family, to nurture them to the best of my ability, to raise my children up in the way that they should go, so that they will not depart from it when they are older, to be the priest of my home, the leader of my household, and to do all the hard things. That's my job. If I am unwilling to do any of that in the moment, why could anybody expect me to do that in uncertain times in the future? So, positions of strength. Why can't I get my Aunt Matilda, my dog, Uncle Rufus, my chiropractor, to prep? Why can't I get these people to prep? They're not taking responsibility now. Why would they take responsibility in the future? I would examine that long and hard. And the trick here, ladies, is you don't get to roll up on your husband and just start screaming at him. You worthless POS, how come you're not taking responsibility, and blah, 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 blah. And Bear said, it's not going to go well, right? I'm very much so reminded of the concept of leading up the chain of command from Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babbitt. Dichotomy. Check. Next question. Jiu-jitsu. We just lost 90% of the audience. That's cool. But ladies, a man's ego is a fragile thing, and if you crack it, he will lash out like a toddler. How do I know? I'm a man. And most of us are very bad at taking constructive criticism, especially from our wives. So this is an issue of leading up the chain of command. Says me. But in the meanwhile, practical, tactical, right now, what can you do about it? Keep prepping. And if your husband thinks you're crazy, okay, maybe you are crazy. Maybe you're not. I'm doing this, honey. And as long as the power bill gets paid, and there's food in the pantry, and there's clothing on the kids, and there's tires on the cars, if you're not going into debt and there's nothing found lacking because of your conviction to be prepared, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And this is the other thing too. All men have hobbies. Some spend exorbitant amounts of money on video games or golf clubs or rifles or racquetball rackets or their cars or their trucks or whatever. Everybody's got their thing, right? Okay, good, honey. This is my thing. This is what I do. Right? And don't turn it into, for lack of a better term, a pissing contest. Well, your hobby costs us money. My hobby might save our life one day. That's not going to get your husband on board. Believe me. Believe me. You just engendered a year of malcontent towards your cause with that one comment. Don't. So you keep doing what you're doing. Your husband, hypothetically speaking, because I don't know him, nor do I know you, but husbands in general should do a deep dive into their own personal situation, examine their psyche, examine their ego, and determine what responsibilities should I be shouldering, but I'm not. What responsibilities am I shouldering, but I'm shouldering them unwillingly. And get right in the moment. Because if you're not right in the moment, you're not going to be right going forward. And then lead up the chain of command. Don't compromise your convictions. If you have a conviction to be prepared, you have a conviction to be prepared. I can't change that. Your husband can't change that. Nor should we. So you can be a wife who honors her husband and has a conviction to be prepared. I think I need to go shoot a chicken. Shalom.